I scraped my eyes open to escape the realm of eternal night, for this night's dream was devoid of contentment and scarce in safety. And in amongst the deepening grey I find the silhouettes of bodies hunched over every article of the room. Many, if not most, grasped at tankards and empty jugs of wine alike, their contentment paraded with each carefree snore breaching the silence of the room, although still remaining eerily quiet, and thus brung me to the confines of my solitude, and it began to itch with ideas better left alone in the corners of my rotting mind. But alas, I was stricken with a sweltering terror. My blood curdled in my veins, and a party of ghosts danced upon my shadow. My body shook with a great quiver of unease. Now and still, within these grey walls, I have come to realize that I was in the council of the moon. Its beauty afforded me a moment from the stalking shadows that no man's eyes could lay upon. My thoughts broken by a rusted cough, painful even to one's own ears. Two white innocent eyes scanned the room for what I do not know, but they were searching for something that I could be sure of. My blood now reached an unbearable limit of heat, and as to relieve the poor beating heart I swiftly moved to leave the room for the balcony. Cattish in my movements, I heard my body make not an ounce of sound, and yet again a large cough followed me. The white eyes now fastened to me. I felt responsible for his interest at this ungodly hour, so I said softly to the boy, half hidden in grey shadows, "Boy, your eyes need not grace my movements. Please, for not my sake but your own, return to your mind's tomes and teaching of your dreams, and pray they learn a lesson by tomorrow, and you will be luckier than me, far luckier." The boy gave me a nod as to silently acknowledge my wishes, almost trying to hold back his cough, which inevitably escaped regardless. I placed my arms across the balcony's ledge, and I find my eyes looking upon my beloved city. And with these eyes I have seen its destruction, with small embers rising above me, floating as if they were mocking my failure, my lack of foresight. As children often look down at ants, I was no different to the children of flame. My ghost, I pray thee, ascend the skies, allow me my mind's clarity. Surely you are but a guise to balance my happiness. Almighty gods, angels, messengers of the grave, please, I plead with you now with a true king's humility. Purge my mind of folly and bemuddling thoughts of loss. Shine your light upon this fire, make it that of a dream that hurts no man more than one night could. As the moments lingered on, I watched the fire spread to all the houses, granaries, churches, and as the ashes followed the embers, they blocked out the moon's sight, leaving a twilight of death in their wake. Damn you! For all the gods you could do but little for any man. Call it blasphemy, but I have seen the madness, and all of it is in your making. Now too you take what I have built in a jealous rage. I walked back into the grey room, sitting upon my chair overlooking the men of my company. Still myself in a drunk haze, I was safe of that of an ignorant death. Armies have forced me to a game of chess, and they have routed the king before I have even placed a single pawn upon the board. My life hangs in this balance, my kingdom hangs beside me, and not one counsel or consultation was uttered on the matter. And on the day of our last stand, by my very hand I had let slip the merriment in my halls to all the men that count towards the idea of defence. And again a cough broke the silence. What horrible power I still possessed, and I still had a duty that I could muster. Boy, your mind hasn't taken you yet? The boy whimpered across the room, trying to make his etiquettes as graceful as possible, before I stopped him in his speech. Boy, I have no hate, rage, or even displeasement for your company. Surely you would sit beside me. He then again reminisced about tales of his father's teachings of etiquette, and what he should not do in front of the king, scarcely placing his words upon the wind. I twisted these words into my favour. Surely he has also told you to do whatever I asked. Surely you would not leave me without company in this fearful hour. The boy timidly stepped over many a spoiled limb to find a chair beside mine, making sure there was enough space to release some of his fear of me. Within my eyes' light I had seen this boy before, in my courts and dining halls many a time. He was a hearty lad, even with his evident affliction. He held a great presence. It was rarely seen in most children or adults. I've seen on many occasions that men's debauchery hushed in place for a child's tale before continuing on with his debauchery. An ideal subject that commands all the love of the people. He'd be better suited for my position, for even I could be found rewording my string of thoughts into that more fitting to his enjoyment. Well, lad, have you ever had wine before? I said as I pulled up the last of the wine in a large jug. My grace, I have it in small mugs here and there, depending on my dad's mood, he said timidly. Ah, well, very well then, I shall pour you a glass and you may drink at your heart's content. In fact, I expect you to drink your fill tonight. I poured a large tankard for the bill, making sure to fill it to the brim. The boy took a sip of the wine, giving a foul expression. Tastes like piss? I asked, while letting out a slight chuckle. Your grace, surely you would drink also. It's bad to drink in the presence of the king alone. But there wouldn't be enough for the both of us, and I have already had much this night. But if you manage to drink this whole jug, I decree, as your king, your affliction shall never again disturb you or keep you in the grip of a night's terror. This I promise you, boy. I talked to the boy for an hour. We talked about a great many things, although mostly overshadowed by our fathers. Many times I found myself laughing, even in this dire situation. But now as the boy fell to the mercy of his chair, still coughing every now and then, a faint but visible smile could be seen on his dreaming face. The real world is not kind to boys and men like yourself. I would go as far to say that you're too good for this rotten world. Men's desires would only wrought you pain and disgrace and even humiliation, or even that of your fathers. So I pray to all the gods and all the elders of this world that what I do for your innocence that should be held in great halls for men's eyes to gaze upon and learn from. Failing to truly justify my need, I grabbed my knife my father had given me on his deathbed, and with all the might I could muster, I ran it through his soft neck. Blood flowed through the gap, drenching his front entirely. I once sat beside a great man to be. I find myself now in the company of a shadow of a man, an utter husk. My eyes now glued to the massive doors that sealed the chamber. With every scrape and prod from the wind, my mind flickered in hysteria. Oh God, surely I have done what's expected of me. Even my father before me taught how to be humble, how to think of others before myself. My family's reign has made sure that the wine in the highborn halls have never run red with the blood of the people's sacrifice. I ate only after every one of my people dined. The things in life that I desire with the knowledge for my many people, not for myself. Where did I go so wrong that you need punish your ideals? I promise that if you undo this nightmare, I shall do all that I say. So deeply I thought that I looked upon the moving door that I didn't acknowledge the guard in the court still shouting upon me for a third time. Your Majesty, some old fool has dropped a torch outside the castle, sir. It took us some time, but no one appears to be hurt, and we have the old fool awaiting your judgment. It was just a fire, I asked boldly in an intensified rage. What do you mean, a fire? As I said, sire, an old fool dropped a torch on his way home. Many buildings felt its wrath, but I have been told that it would take only that of a month to repair. Let the old man free. Let him see his family. Don't deny him that. We all make mistakes, and I have the graver matters that need your attention. Guards, arrest this man, I said in a bitter rage. Arrest the king's advisor this second. Sire, the two guards grabbed the man as they laid eyes upon the broken body of the boy. When the boy couldn't handle his wine, his father struck his neck with the swift edge of his carving knife. The guards dragged the man out of the room. More men entered to give the boy graceful removal. I will afford the boy the greatest honour and death. I will see to that at least, I said as my words echoed loudly in the late hours of the hall. As I retired to my room, my mind was in a burning hysteria of words to give to God. A pox on you, God! Your being should be plotted out for this realm, for all man's good. I be in a waking dream of your making. I swear to you, my hand bathed in blood now by your unsightly making. But I have not the ability of my own spoken justice, for I must live to give the boys I know not the names, the homes and happiness they deserve. For they deserve it far more than me. and when my time nears I shall have my justice, from myself and from you.